What's up, dudes? Today, I'm not looking at my compatriots because, well, they're going to make me laugh. And you kind of can't see my face, but we're going to do this thing. We're not just diving into the paranormal today. We brought on the girls from Girl, We're Winging It. So this is what happens when two completely different worlds collide. We're talking about whether kids are psychic or not. I guess we're going to fight about it, or let's see if we even talk about the topic. This is going to be a crazy one. Hope you guys are ready. Strap in and strap on. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Paranormal Dudes podcast, episode 92. We're here joined with Jessie and her really best friends from Girl, We're Winging It for a very special episode. Annie and Melissa, guys, let's clap at them. Clap at them for being here. Yeah.
My light almost fell on me.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. This is going to be a crazy one. Normal Dudes was crazy. If you haven't seen a Normal Dudes episode yet, go and check it out at patreon.com/paranormal dudes. The topic was a little insane, as you could probably tell. A lot of us know each other from a very long time. Bessie's disappeared. I don't know why.
You don't want to know why.
Yes.
Now I really want to know.
She took the seat off her stool.
Did it have to do with the tongs?
She took the seat off her stool.
It's around this time I like to take the seat off and make sure the suspension is working correctly.
Well, we're here tonight because obviously we're going to have a discussion together. And I wanted to pose a question to everybody here. Whether you believe, since we all know kids see spooky shit. We all know that. I've seen it myself with my daughter. Jessie's kids are, they're the next coming of, I think, you know what? They might be the next Mexican Ed and Lorraine Warren without the weird history behind it. Because they see everything. Her kids are nuts. So, and the question is to everybody here is whether kids are actually psychic because they see all of this stuff, or is it something else that's in play, what everybody thinks it is. And since we have guests here tonight, I am going to ask Annie and Melissa what they think first and foremost. What do you guys think on the topic about kids and whether they're psychic or it's something else?
Psychotic.
Psychotic. Go first, Melly.
Well, thank
She's
you,
like,
Annie.
"Thank
You know, just nice like that.
So kind.
It's called manners.
Yeah, I think that kids are definitely more in tune between a certain age with like the paranormal than most people. I think it's because of their innocence and because I think the veil's thin with children. Like they can see things or maybe they remember past transgressions of their prior lives and stuff like that. And I have 3 kids, so I've heard them say things here and there. Like my son for a while he used to say that he was a guy from for Halloween he wanted to be a guy from the 1960s. Like that was his jam. And he's always been an old soul. And so I remember asking him, like, why do you want to be? We went to a Halloween birthday party, and all the little kids were like Batman and like just like little
Yeah.
like ghouls or whatever. And he was
Mhm.
wearing a Hawaiian shirt with like a little like fedora. I have the picture in my living room.
What the? Okay.
Dang, you had the Tommy
Um,
Bahama.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
Yeah,
Tommy
he had
Bahama.
it. He was very specific. Like it had to be like, and then he was wearing like khaki shorts, and I was just like that, like, you know, like that. He was feeling himself. You know, he was like, yeah, from like a long time ago when I used to dress like this, and I was like, all right, you do you, boo. um,
That's interesting. I mean,
my
was
daughter
it
one
like?
time we were outside. Was it what? I'm sorry.
Oh, go for it. You're fine. No, you're good.
I
You're
know
good.
my daughter one time we were outside on the porch and she's 5. This was maybe like a year and a half ago and she just started telling me about how do I remember I was like she's like, "Do you remember me from like a long time ago?" And I was like, yeah, I've known you all your life." And she's like, "No, from like before I was in your belly." And I'm like, "What do you mean before you were in my belly?" And she's like, "Yeah, like it was a long time ago, like before I met you." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, what were you doing before?" And she's like, "Well, I was in jail." And I was like, "Why were you in jail?" And she's like, "I did
You're
lots
like,
of
oh,
bad
What
stuff."
the fuck?
Yeah. And I was
My
like, "Well,
baby
what
has
did
a
you
case.
do?"
I was incarcerated.
She was.
I
She
was
said
doing
that, and then
the
she told
life.
me
I
that
was
she
a
was like,
lifer.
yeah, because I was like, I was trying to like pry because I was my son being 1960s man made sense to me. I was like, that makes sense,
Yeah.
you know. He being,
Yeah.
but like my daughter, all of a sudden telling me she was in jail, I was just like, wait a minute, for what? Like, what did you do? And she's like, just bad stuff. And I was like, what? And she just was
Damn.
like, I robbed a bank. And I was like, oh. I was like, wow,
Oh.
good, thank God.
Hey, I
Just
robbed the
a bank.
bank with Queen Latifah
Queen
and
Latifah and Queen
Yeah.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Right. I
I would
mean,
have asked
the thing
her,
is
like,
that,
what
like,
was a mistake?
I know, right? What
it's
is the
because
mistake you made?
there's
That's
a lot of
okay.
things they can't articulate. Like, they can't really tell you and explain to you
Mhm.
everything in the way that you're going to understand. And
Right.
they're trying to as much as you, as they're willing to give attention to it in that moment. Because then afterwards, she was just like, you're
Right.
asking too many questions. Like, I'm gonna go kick rocks.
I'm
Like, I'm
out.
gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna
Well,
go
especially
like
I was just
run
making a
around
comment.
the
that
grass.
age now.
Snitches get stitches.
Right.
Yeah, especially
Right,
that
right,
age
right.
range right now, and they're just like this is enough. That's you're bothering me, dude. I'm trying to play this
Right,
game.
right.
Like, go away, and the
She's
ghost
like,
is
I
trying
said that
to.
was
Exactly. And
in
then
my
also,
past.
like, I don't know how much of like what she's imagining is actual like perception of her past life and what's actually things that she's been
Right.
watching on TV or watching on fucking YouTube or
Mhm.
just anything like that she's kind of like a little bit. So, I mean, I take it with a
She
grain of salt. I
saw the
take it
movie Set It Off. That's what it is.
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. I just thought it was weird that she was very specific. Like, it was before I was in your tummy. It was a
Yeah.
long time ago. I didn't know
Right.
you then. And then she was like, yeah, like I was like this and I did that, And I was like, okay, well,
Right.
we were just on the porch sitting down. I didn't want to pry any more than she wanted to share. Like
That's
my daughter, she's
crazy.
true. She
No.
she can't speak fluently. She'll say like words here and there, but like the other night she was just like,
Mhm.
it's scary. There's monsters, and I was like,
Yeah.
those monsters, like whip 'em up, you know?
Damn.
Like they're gonna catch mommy's
For the
elbow
meat.
right now, like square up, like hitting the air and shit.
For
Like,
real.
where? Tell me, point him, like smoking, shit, around the house. But then again,
Oh
she's
my
really into
gosh.
these like YouTube videos where there's like little animated characters turning into zombies, So she thought it was funny. Afterwards, she was just laughing at mommy hitting the air, like like my mom's tripping balls.
Oh my
um.
gosh. My
So yeah, I
gosh.
mean, but
Okay.
my house is over 100 years old. I've
Oh,
seen
that helps.
some
Yes.
activity
Right.
here and there, but yeah, like so it's not totally for me at least. It's not totally like out of um out
Out
of
of the
this
realm of
world,
possibility, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My
Mhm.
husband's just completely no, just shut off to. He's an unbeliever. Like
Mm.
he's just Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is he a skeptic or just a non-believer, or is he both?
I think he's just a non-believer. Yeah.
Okay.
He's just like,
Okay. That's fair.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
You know, right? Like,
That's all right. Fuck all that.
100 likes.
maybe
and we will
it stems
interview.
from fear, you know? But-
Maybe 1,000 likes, and we will interview Brian on the show and have a
I don't think
conversation.
you need
with him.
1,000. You fucking come on here willingly. As a matter of fact.
And
All
Meg
right.
said,
all right, let me go get him.
Hey, hold on
Perfect.
1
And the
second.
mighty wings are too.
That mighty wings.
Fuck
Fuck
the
them
mighty
mighty
wings.
wings.
Well, thank you for sharing, Melissa. Little into what it is that your kids see, and giving us a POV of. So your son, is it like late 60s period, like coming into the disco era, or is he more of
He was like
still the 60s?
like early 60s. He that's what.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Still going through the 50s. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for clearing that up. I was just curious about that.
No problem.
It's really important that I get that here.
Right.
Very
Yeah.
important. We have to give context to everybody.
What brand of khakis?
That's
What
good.
brand of khakis did he want?
What brand of khakis were they?
Oh my God.
Was the fedora from Van Heusen or from where?
Oh my God.
I think we got.
Okay.
I don't
Thank
even
you
know.
so
I think
much,
that the fedora
Melissa.
was from Target. You're welcome.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's fair. All right, Annie. I hope you're ready, because
Yeah.
guess what? You're
You-
next.
I'm next. It was easy for me to give the floor because they have actual hands-on, like they have kids to grab experience from. What
Right.
I can relate to is I was just like how she encouraged that conversation with her daughter and her son. I was around that household where it was common that if, one of us or one of the children, they wake up from a dream or they wake up from a nap and they're describing a dream, that the adults pay attention and that they listen to the dream and ask questions, or, they don't just ignore it. So like my grandma always encouraged like listening to us when we spoke about things that we saw or we heard around the house. Like there was always like knocking on windows at her house. There was always like instructions as to how things that to do or not to do, like not open the door if you don't see anybody out there, or there was always a candle with the water and an apple or something like that. Or she always incorporated children into even other dimensional paranormal aspect of it, but always being as a guardian. So we never felt like
Interesting.
it was always like a natural channel, I guess. So now
Okay.
like I have like my niece, she always has conversations about, especially after my grandma passed, she would have very vivid dreams of my grandma visiting her, but she wouldn't describe them as like having that comfort of like, oh, my grandma's here, and I miss her. She would describe her as like not wanting to leave, or like, like just really things that were just like out of turn and more concerning, and not comforting for a little girl of like 8, 7 to be describing, But I definitely think in terms of an innocence, like their minds aren't with all of our non-believing asses, and all our skepticism that we gain throughout the years in life. Like I feel like they're just a more open channel, for that kind of connection or communication, if anything. So definitely.
Sounds like they got a playbook. I wish I would have gotten that. Well, but there's evil stuff out there, and you're going to experience. Like no one prepared me growing up to see all this.
Yeah.
They got the playbook on it. I
My
can
grandma
actually
always
appreciate
encouraged that for sure. Mhm.
I wish I had someone like that in my life. I don't know if anybody else here has had someone in their life was. You're going to see some crazy that you may or may not think that's there, but be open to it, I guess. That's never happened to me. Jessie was naked with a nap on her head in front of a mirror, so you don't have
True.
to even think about that.
True.
I guess I could ask Oscar and Buddy, what about you guys? Like, did anybody prepare you for that? Oscar, muted. I know you think you're cool because you press space
Yeah.
to mute yourself, but we can't hear you when you talk.
All right.
He maybe had an inside fart.
Yeah, I was holding it.
Yeah,
So
that's what it was. That's what it was.
nobody really prepared me for that stuff. And honestly, like I don't have kids yet, but I have a niece and nephew, and I pretty much was there as they were growing up. And my nephew, one time we caught him on a tricycle outside, and he was like saying, "Oh, like go over there, like ride the tricycle." And my mom comes down and she's like, "Hey, like who are you talking to?" And he's like, "Oh, nobody." And she's like, "Oh no, I heard you talking to somebody to get on the bike. Like, who was that?" And finally he was like, "Oh, it's my friend Chalo." And
Okay.
so my mom was like, "Okay, well, who's Chalo? Like, where's he from?" Like, kind of prying. And he was like, "I don't think you should ask that. He's gonna get mad." So then my mom kind of stopped. So then one day I asked him, I was like, "Hey, like, who's Chalo?" And he's like, "Don't ask me that. He's gonna get mad." And then it just kind of went away,
Hell no.
right? So that was my. He's now 13, but my niece, she just turned 3. Yeah, and so what she says is that so she'll be talking to you whatever, and then she'll be like, "Oh," like she'll point to the sky and she'll be like, "Oh, like allá vamos a ir," and she's like, we're like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Yeah, yeah, yo quiero ir allá," and she points to the sky.
The
And
hell?
we're like, "Where? Like to the plains?" Or she's like, "No, con Dios." And nobody taught her this, bro. And we're all just
Bro.
like, "What the heck are you
Okay.
talking about?" Like, okay.
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, ven conmigo y vamos con Dios." I was like,
Yeah, sounds like a movie, dude.
Uh-huh.
It sounds like
They're
a
like,
movie.
"Nah."
bye. I'll see you guys. Tell your mom. I'll be back next week. Bye.
Not right now. Not right now.
Not right now.
Maybe later.
I got something to do. I got a
Yeah.
podcast. Bye.
Yeah. But I do agree with what Melissa and Annie were saying. Like they're on another frequency, right? They're so pure. Like, and
Right.
I heard that you should ask a 1 to 3-year-old what the purpose of life is, and you can get the answer because they're so close to the source of all that.
Right.
And I just think that's so trippy, bro. Like,
It is
A ver,
tricky.
Temo, Temo, what is the
Hey, ven aquí ahorita. Come over here real quick.
Why am I
He's like-
here?
He's like Roblox. Get money.
I know.
You
Easy
know,
snacks,
living the
bro.
life.
Buddy, what about you, dude?
It's interesting because I'm listening to you guys talk about this, and you guys all speak about wavelengths and the innocence of a child, and it's kind of funny because I've been reading, and I talked to you guys about a theme I would like to bring up in a later episode, and actually,
Mhm.
some part of this person's study actually spoke about the wavelengths and the frequencies that we're on, and talking about parallel universes next to us, and Melly and Annie and even Oscar hit it. Children are, I guess we could say, they are on a different wavelength, although we're talking about children possibly being psychic, where I believe all of us have the ability.
Right.
Now, after
Mhm.
reading this person's, the reason is because once we become a certain age, we are now programmed to learn about life, modern life. Whereas before, this person's study even brought us back to like the indigenous people and such. They didn't learn about the ABCs. They didn't learn about, math and
Right.
science and all. They learned about the earth and everything that's in front of us. And that kept them in that wavelength where they were able to uh, intersect with the opposite wavelengths as far as the parallel universes. And when we pass and intersect those is when we can see a spirit, or we can see what we think is a spirit, which is in the studies that I've been reading on, is another dimension that's working on the side. And it is true. I mean, children 1 to 3 have this close, or this very wide open idea of what the purpose of life is. Because you guys said that right now, and it clicked to me. My little brother, as a 2-year-old, wanted my mom to give him a blank book and pens because he was going to write the book on the questionable understandabilities. And that was his
Jesus.
word, is like a little too, I mean, he was going on 3 years old, but he wanted to write the book of the questionable understandabilities. And he was telling us about how he could see other things that we couldn't see. Like, there was just weirdness, but this is going to be a really interesting topic once we really get rolling. Because yeah, I think we're all kind of hitting the tip of the iceberg here, and we're about to open up a whole can of worms.
Buddy, remember what show you're on. The tip of the penis, not iceberg. Okay.
Sorry, the tip of the phallic.
Yeah. Well, thank you, buddy. Well, now it's the moment everybody's been waiting for because her kids are crazy.
I am.
Jesse. Jesse, do you have any stories that you haven't shared on the pod already that might be missing, that could be new, if possible?
Not really. I feel like my kids say weird things every day. But I know personally, like before I went on this trip, I was like kind of paranoid because Valentina kept telling me that she didn't want me to go to New York because my plane was gonna crash.
Oh my God.
She watched Final
I
Destination.
know, Val.
And I was just like, okay, but my family's not normal, so I can't be like. And I even talked to the girls
Yeah.
because I can't be like, you guys, like Valentina saying we're I'm going on a trip or something, and they can't just be like, Jesse, everything's gonna be fine. Like, don't worry. No,
Oh yeah, no, they would have said
it's
cancel.
like, yeah, it was like my sister saying, like one sister saying, like, well, she's the most psychic, and you should listen and maybe see what it's about, and the other sister was like, and then my mom was like, maybe you shouldn't go. So it was just really hard for me to decide to go.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I shared this, but she did give me, when I first flew to Seattle, a little necklace. And now that I'm thinking about it, it kind of it was on the little Indian or Native American doll that my mom gave her.
Oh wow. So she gave you a charm,
She gave me the
A
little necklace,
talisman.
but when
a talisman.
I was
Oh, talisman. Okay.
when I was
Exactly.
looking at it, it looked exactly like the one that they made for Richie Valens in the movie in La Bamba.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
Oh.
Richie! Insert here.
Yeah. So I was like, and I still have it in my wallet, like, because I was like, if I'm gonna be on a plane, like, I'm gonna take it with me. So that's kind of like, but it's just like hit or miss with them. It's like Smelly said, sometimes it's like what they're watching, what they're doing. So I really have to like pay attention to what they're telling me and what has been happening with them, if they're dreaming or what, because, it's just sometimes them will be like, I'm dreaming of, like the latest one was he says something about talking to his grandma or his great grandma, and like she was with her dog, and her dog is white, but she didn't know, that my grandma had a white dog. So she's like, oh, she was sitting on her bed by the window petting her white dog. And that's what my grandma used to do. She used to sit on her bed and by the window and with her dog Taco, and who was white, little white Chihuahua. So you just have to like see what's going on with them mentally, because I feel like sometimes when they're different in that way, that if Vala's more worrisome, so she has to kind of figure out how to channel, and not a channel, but how to define the difference between like something she's actually seeing as a vision or something that she's just worried about. And I have to kind of work with her so she can like see what the difference is. And Themo's just like
channel her energy into what really is, opposed to what she is afraid of. Yeah, I get it.
Is that
exactly.
testing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a trip.
Well, that was heavy. I was just expecting something a little funny, but that was heavy. But thank you, Jesse.
Pues,
How
me
about
Nonetheless.
yours, Joe?
You asked me?
What's that, Annie?
How about yours? Do you have any?
Oh, I have way too many. So my daughter is kind of like Melissa's daughter. She's nonverbal. She is on the spectrum, and she'll say that will scare the out of me. But that's because I'm a miedoso to begin with. Let's get that out of the way.
Yes, please. Let's
okay?
just state that. Yeah.
Let's just keep that out. Okay, so there will be days where it's usually me and her hanging out all the time, and she replaces her L's with W's, and she'll say "wook," "Look, Daddy, look." I was like, and it's dark over there. Nothing's happening. And what do you see? And she'll just stare over there and point.
Turtle's
And
like,
I'll think,
hell no.
he's like, I'm not
Kid
going over
inside.
there. You want to go over there? I don't want to go over there. So then uh, we'll kind of brush it off, and she'll go off and do something, and then out of nowhere she'll come running to me scared or like whining, not necessarily crying, and she'll tell me, "Daddy, I'm scared," and I'll go over there, and reluctantly I'll go over there, and nothing will be there, and I know that she sees stuff, and what's been happening regularly lately is that she will be in her playroom and she'll start to make a specific cry that I know something's happening. And I'll walk over there, and as I'm going over there, she points at she has like a little mirror in her little playroom, and she points at the mirror, and then it's I forgot the name of the stupid box, Jesse. It's like that little music box from Disney. You put monos on top,
Yeah.
and it starts playing music.
Yes.
So she has one of those, and the only way it plays music is if you put a mono on it, right? Well, this thing will start playing music with no mono on it, and it'll scare the shit out of me. And obviously, it would scare her. And this is obviously this ghost likes music or loves Disney, one or the other. I have no fucking. But it's something that's happening regularly, and I want to say the older she's getting, it's amplifying a little more, because she does look off into the darkness quite often. But I don't know. It's a weird experience. Especially, you'll get it, Oscar. Once you have a kid, and once they start telling you crazy shit like that, then you'll really be like, "Oh, I guess there was a ghost in my house all along." Because right now, it's more of that weird doll you
The
have in your
doll you
closet.
have. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, nah,
Yes.
but my dog be barking sometimes randomly, bro, at the
Really?
corner.
I
Yeah,
always
2
trust kids
times
and
already.
dogs.
Always trust the dog. Always trust the dog. The
Yes.
kid and the dog. Always.
Always.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a weird thing to think about, because obviously you want to protect your kids at all times and do what you can to protect them. But there's a moment where I don't know, you don't have control
Right.
when it comes to the paranormal, and you want to shield them from certain things,
Yeah.
and obviously you can't shield them from whatever entity is haunting them or trying to hang out with them. um But I wanted to shift a question over to you guys. Something that's I know it's hard for some of us, except for Oscar. Oscar's a young buck. Do you guys remember yourselves experiencing anything weird as a kid that you still can't explain to this day?
No.
Do any of you have anything like that?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah? Oh, Annie, you're gonna go first since you said something.
Sure.
You're gonna go first.
Sure. Well, my grandma's house was always like our hub of paranormal, interactions and certain like, instances of fear of obviously like, there was I would say obviously like it happens everywhere, right? But there'd be knocking on windows, there'd be like heavy knocking. She has a main wooden door, which is like super
Mhm.
thick. And it really takes some balls to like knock down. And like we would hear like some people banging on there, nobody there. But the biggest instance, and because all of those things, I guess one way or another, you can explain it, like the wind or whatever, something dumb. But there was one particular instance that I wasn't so little, like I was maybe 10, 9 or 10.
Mhm.
I remember that I wasn't so little that I don't remember that you could murky it up. Um, we were the last room, the main master bedroom had cement. It was all cement. The rest of the house had linoleum, but just that room had cement. They hadn't finished it. So we were sitting 2 rooms like in the away in the living room, the house was empty. It was just me and my uncle. My grandparents had left to Sonora. So the house was totally empty. We were just like basically, sorry, Lee, house sitting. So
Mhm.
we're sitting in the living room watching TV. Everything is turned off. We're, we have like a clear view to the master bedroom. The door's open, but the lights turned off. All of a sudden, we
Mhm.
hear what sounds like someone grabs a glass, like just a cup, and smashes it directly into the cement. It was literally like a crashing sound. We're like, oh.
Mhm.
So me and my uncle get up, run to the room, turn on the light. There's nothing there. Not a thing.
Interesting.
Like,
No
and it
glass,
was
nothing?
nothing. My uncle's like 15 years older than I am. So he's like, we got in the car and we left to a hotel room where my stepdad and my mom were staying at a hotel. They were staying at Holly's, actually. They're in Calexico. So my
Oh, man,
uncle
I missed their
was,
breakfast. Not
you
good,
remember
but,
that?
I missed their
So they were
breakfast.
staying
I
at
missed their
Holly's,
breakfast.
man, when they still had the pool there and everything. It was amazing.
Oh.
So I remember he got so freaked out that he put me in the car. He said, "We're not sleeping here tonight." And to this day, there's no way for us to explain what happened or how. I distinctly remember the sound of the crash of the glass,
Mhm.
And like, there's no way. There's no way for us to explain where it came from. We walked all over. It was just him and I. There was not even a dog around, Like, what the so to this day, no way to explain it, but that's as close as I get to
Interesting.
anything supernatural, paranormal that I couldn't find a way to justify, in my skeptic mind.
Yeah. And how old were you when this happened?
I was like 9 or 10.
You're 10.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's I th oh my gosh. I
Yeah,
can't
it
even
was
I was too busy doing I don't know if for me it was a little different. I was too busy doing travesuras. I don't know if I
yeah.
had time to see spooky shit happen, but I don't know, that should be. But you know what? Your uncle's smart. He
Yeah.
did the old poltergeist thing. He said,
Yeah.
"Let's get the out of here." And not yeah,
Let's
he
go. We're
was
moving out.
yeah. He did what most people won't do. They're just like, "Oh, it's fine. Let's just go back to sleep." But
He's
your
like,
uncle's like, "Nah, let's get the we out.
fuck
Fuck
that.
this."
No.
Smart man. Smart man. Okay.
Smart man,
That's
man.
fair.
Yeah.
Buddy, what about you? I'm sure you have well, you have okay. We've heard a bunch of Buddy's stories when he was a kid. I think it was
I
like
think I know which one he's gonna share.
let's see if he let's see. What you got, bud?
Well, I don't think I have shared a few, but I know I've told you guys several times, I guess, when I was a kid, I used to have premonitions of the next day or the next couple days, and I could like basically
Yeah.
paint out a full day to my family. That happened a
Right.
lot. I remember as a young child. The other thing that I always remember as a kid was there was always a man that would come out from in my bedroom. Um, I've drawn pictures of him
I
recently,
remember
like
this
from
story. Yeah.
memory, and I remember I'd always tell my family like, "There's this man, and he comes out of the like the closet, out of the shadows." Like it was
Mhm.
like the scariest thing to me in the world, and I remember always screaming out to my parents or feeling trapped in the room, and then they'd come in, and there's nothing here, and they'd walk away and turn off the lights, and shortly after it was again, the big hand coming for me,
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
for my life has always terrified me. And I know that went on for many years as a kid till I can honestly almost say till I was like 13, 14. I was afraid to sleep in my own room.
Really?
Yeah. And I guess at some point, like I outgrew it where I wasn't paying attention to that no more.
Mhm.
And it didn't go away as far as the memory went, but it did go away as far as I was noticing it as much.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I could say as a kid, I did have those visions. I did have those premonitions, and I know the premonitions were like I know they were real because my mother is very much my mother is very much a non-believer and a skeptic of it all.
Yeah.
But my father would always ask me like I'd tell him like I had this dream today and this is what happens, and my dad's like, "You're just having dreams. You're thinking it's." I'm like, "No, Dad, watch." And I tell him like, "Right now, this so and so car is going to come down this way, and we're going to see this man walk right here." Then we're gonna see this happen, and my dad'd be like, "All right, stop. Where?" Be like, let's stand right here." And sure enough, this certain color car would come by, and then this man would be walking by a certain. My dad would kind of look at me like, "How did you know all this?" Like, as a small kid,
Mhm.
you shouldn't be so aware that you'd see this before it happened, or you're able to describe it before. But I tell him, "No,
Right.
I dreamt it last night." And so, yeah, I mean, as a kid, I can see I did see stuff like that, and now in my later years, where I see things that I've told you guys about the cowboy or this thing in my closet
Mhm.
or something popping up over your shoulder, whatever. I'm
I
not
is it you see it again?
not right now, but I'm saying like in
Oh.
other
He's
podcasts
just
we talk
talking
about
about
it,
it
El miedoso,
miedoso.
miedoso.
He's like, "You
and
see it?"
Now we do.
and like
Is
you
it
know,
around me?
I would
Straight up.
no, I would just I I don't know how to channel it. I don't know how to make it more active.
Mhm.
It is an interest to me, but I think it just through the years, I think I just built like a wall. I built a block where
Yeah.
I don't I don't have that open sense anymore where I'm looking for stuff where I'm able to see more often and everything. It just happens to like come and go, like fade in, fade out type thing.
Right. Well, what if I this is just a shot in the dark. What if this were to activate it? Our whole experiment with the bunny rabbits, the remote control bunny rabbits. What if that were to heighten your senses maybe?
I am
No?
curious though if this show has opened this up to more experiences for you guys. Like, have
Right.
Oh, yeah, by
Paranormal
far.
Dudes made your life more paranormal?
Yeah. And to be honest with you, Annie, I'm glad you asked that because feel when we're on the show together, the energy collects itself and there have been other witches or warlocks or whatever that have seen the show and have been a part of it before. And they say an Ergogor was manifested between the four of us. Though we haven't, it might still be dormant, hasn't come back yet. But usually what happens on the show is it'll start with one of us on here. It could usually it loves Oscar for some reason.
Right.
For some reason, it loves Oscar. It'll mess with his lights that are behind him. It
Mare.
will mess with his camera. But at the same time, a lot of things happen to Buddy too. A lot of things happen. Um, and whether it's just fueling the energy within his house or
Right.
it's manifested from the show, it definitely heightens. I feel like the one that's in control of it and it doesn't change uh the energy or the mood within her home is Jessie because usually nothing happens to Jessie. She's got like this force
Or
field or
everything
something
always
from the
happens at
show.
Jessie, but since it's always like an energy for her, it's like, this is
Yeah.
my bread and butter.
Yeah, I mean, for
I mean, it's
instance,
possible. Yeah.
for instance,
Mm.
today, um, I was here in my room. I was just telling everybody we're doing construction in my house, so my house is a huge mess. There's storage boxes everywhere. I mean, it's crazy. But earlier today, I was kind of trying to get my computer out, set everything up, have everything ready for tonight, and I started hearing my daughter call out to me, and I heard
Otra
"Dad,
vez.
Dad," and so I was like, while trying to set this up, I also had a phone call with my insurance, medical stuff, and I heard her calling, so I looked out the door and I could see her in the next room across the hallway, and so I went, like, wait up. So I finished with the call.
She's like,
She's
Yeah,
like,
like, yeah, she even gave me that look, like, the fuck?
What?
But I finished the call and then I rolled out of the room and I went to the room there and I was like, "What happened? Why are you calling me?" And she's like,
mhm,
"I didn't call you." And I was like, "Yeah, you did. I heard you say dad like twice." And she's like, "I never called you." Trippy thing is my door and her door were wide open and we could see
mhm.
each other. She didn't hear it. I did. So something called out to me in this house and she didn't hear it. The dogs heard it because they picked their head up and looked back over her way when that happened.
Right.
But
It,
yeah,
so that's more mimic activity. This is what the
Is it like a
second time the other
common
way, but
occurrence?
yeah,
Oh.
at my house,
Mhm.
yeah.
Have you guys ever done
mimic activity. There,
limpias or like any wards around your houses or around you guys?
I'm gonna go off
Like me or Buddy?
topic over here, but
All of you
um,
guys.
I
But what about yourself? What about just you,
Yeah, I
like in
do
a
my
bath or in a
cleanser every
shower?
morning.
I
I
personally
mean,
haven't had one. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there was for a while, and we saw it on podcasts, on the videos. In my closet, there was a weird, really dark, ugly shadow in my closet, and it would scare my dogs. I believe
mhm.
one of my dogs was affected to it to the point where he actually, um, or we had to have him put down because it affected him so much, I believe. And yeah, so I mean, there has been stuff happen, like a lot.
And for Oscar, I think it's a different experience with the energy within Paranormal Dudes that leaks on his side. What do you feel on your side, Oscar, mainly?
So for me, kind of going off of Annie's question of like, has it opened up to more experiences? And I told you guys in the previous episode, like before we before I even started, because this was about a year ago, right? When we started kind of getting on Paranormal Dudes and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's been a year. Yeah. It's been a year.
Um, I wasn't really, just because, work, business, I'm always like thinking about other things. I never really gave it the attention, you know? But once we started jumping on and like started talking about these different topics and like feeling the energy, that was the biggest thing. I'm very, very spiritual, so I do feel that. And I admitted to everybody here, like I was like, dude, I was honestly pretty scared for like what was gonna I didn't know what was gonna come out of it, right? But I had this fear of like, am I gonna be exposed to more of it? Am I gonna start seeing things? Am I going to, And I didn't it didn't I didn't start seeing a bunch of crazy things, but I started to feel and learn more about what I was already feeling and seeing and experiencing. And that's like when the whole doll thing came, Jesse started to kind of educate me on like the stuff that I was feeling, the stuff that I seen in the past. And so I felt like it was more of a, like it kind of closed the loop for me of like all these open dots of like, what are all these things that have been happening to me. Um, but I will admit though that when I do go to certain places now that I used to go to before, they do feel different, especially older places that I used to go to like as a kid or whatever. I do feel like a different energy, and I never felt that before
Or
we
even
started
people?
talking about this. Yeah, or
Like,
even
I'm
yeah,
sure there's
even people
people
as
that
well.
mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, I like it though. Like I like to explore this part of it and bring what I feel and experience, so that way we can kind of talk about it and learn more about that.
And what about you, Jess? Like, and okay, this is like an honest question because we never really have asked this of Jesse. I know that we all experience crazy on this show while we're filming it, and the days that we're not filming. But I think Jesse, is it that you're able to manage the energy that it
Not all the
exudes
time.
from our conversations, or is it that you're just quiet about it? What is it really?
I mean, sometimes I'm quiet about it. Unless something really crazy happens, like I'll right away message the girls or something has happened to me or whatever. But I mean, as far as something really crazy, the only thing that comes to my mind is when I was about, let's see, if Sandra was like 12, then I was like 9 or 10, and we were going to Julian. And there was, my parents were fighting or something. My dad was being a for whatever reason. And
Mhm.
if you know, like the roads back then, or probably I haven't been recently, but back then it was like, two-way, and you were literally driving around a damn mountain with like forest like on the other side. And there
Still
was
the
a
same
drunk
girl.
driver. Oh Lord.
Yeah, it's still the same.
So there was a drunk driver in like I don't know, like a Transit Connect type of car, like those Ford Transit, like I don't know, kinda like those the Geek Squads drive. But obviously it wasn't that because this was a long time ago, but it was just like a camper. I don't know, something like that. And we couldn't avoid him. And I just remember that I vaguely remember my mom hearing, like, telling my dad, like, "Joey, vamos a chocar," and then, like, my sisters were, like, crying, and I just remember that I took a deep breath because I was like, "We're gonna freaking"
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden, like, it was like a white flash of light, and then it was like if something like a hopping feeling, like a hop. I don't know, it's weird. Um, and then when, like, I opened my eyes, we were like, the guy had passed us, and my parents, everybody were laughing, and practically, like, my mom, I remember her laughing, but she was crying because she was like, "Oh my god," like, and she was telling my dad, "How did you do that? How did you do that? Like, how did you swerve? How did you avoid him?" And my dad's like, "No sé, no sé," and that's just, like, something even when I think about it to this day, I'm like it still freaks me out because it was just such a weird feeling that I will never forget.
Damn, you put some 11. You're like, ugh.
I was like
That feels like screaming blood off the
my nose
nose.
was
Her nose is
bleeding.
bleeding.
Then I got my period, I got
Damn.
the next day I got my period. Puberty started.
Damn, I forgot that was the question. I'm over here thinking it's a different question.
Oh, it's 'cause
No,
then
I
he
mean,
asked
there
the
was 2
question
questions. That
after.
was the original
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
No, mine
Right.
that I can remember is the mimic in my hallway. That's
Well, yeah,
so vivid to
that
me.
one's nuts.
To this
Yeah, that one's
day, I
crazy.
can't look at hallways, bro. And then when I go to my parents' house, like, bro, nah, I just feel it.
It's a two-parter, Jesse. The other question was from Annie. She asked,
Yeah, ask me, what was the
um,
second question?
the
Sorry, so
second
Samuel came in
question
and I had to give him candy so he could leave.
It's
is
if
like, "Give me candy or I'm gonna
your
bring all the
experiences
the booba power."
since you started with paranormal, if it's,
Oh, the podcast?
if you've, like, tapped into more things, like paranormal stuff.
Yeah. Ever since the 4 of us
Um,
came together for Paranormal Dudes, if it heightened,
'Cause
the paranormal activity.
I don't think it necessarily heightened it. I think it just, because we're, like, literally talking about this all week, every day, it's just more
Pretty much.
like, because when we're not obviously on the podcast or talking about, topics, we're messaging each other all day or, all week.
Mhm.
And so I think it's just, something that is just part of my life as before it was just kinda that would happen, and then I'd be like, "Okay," and kinda just move along. Now it's like, you know but I don't think that, like, it has made, like, worse things happen or scary or something, or any no.
Right.
I just feel like it's just
My
part of my life
my
now.
theory my theory is still the same, that I don't think we manifested something on the show, and what I think it is that our individual spirits or ghosts that are in our homes, they get
They're
together
chilling.
they're just
Yeah.
chilling,
Yeah.
and then finally, when we all are in the same area together, they're gonna have
Mhm.
a orgy, and then
Yes.
we're just gonna be, "Oh my god, there's so many ghosts everywhere."
Bro, they're
Yeah.
doing a podcast at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're doing a
exactly, right?
podcast.
They're doing a
That's
like,
what's
ghost
happening.
podcast.
Let's
That's
put
what that
Oscar's
is.
light. Let's see what he does.
From the other
Well
that'd be you know what? That's
well,
crazy to think of, actually.
Annie's in the Aurora house, so
Right.
she
Right.
actually has a friend that likes the lights.
Yes, for
That used
real.
to be my office.
I have a question. The room that's the little window that gives towards the front, the bedroom that gives towards the front entrance. Whose room
The
did
first
that used to
bedroom to
be?
your left,
Yeah. Who did that belong
the
to, like, back
kids.
in the day? Because my niece will not sleep in that room comfortably. She does not like to be in that room at all. I mean, like, before you, Jesse. I mean, who did that
Really?
belong to? Because I don't know what it is. She'd rather sleep in the living room, but she's like,
I
something scares her about the bedroom.
I
I
checked
don't
the closet, Demo might have wrote something
I
on the
know,
closet
right?
or something
So
in the closet
There's like
walls.
an
so
incantation and
that
shit.
first room
Huh?
the first room to your left that used to
Yeah.
be the like Valentemo's room,
Yeah.
um, That room was, like, super comfortable, like, we used to love that room, and it's the coldest room in the house, like,
It's
we love it.
fine, but for whatever reason, that's why I asked, 'cause, I'm like, maybe it has a story or something, but no, she's just like she's like, "I don't know, that room feels weird to me," but I don't know, like, it might be us that fucking
I
tainted
mean,
it
it
or
could
something.
be.
The señoras now, the señora's like, I like this
Or
room now. I don't like the other one.
I
Well,
don't
the
like it.
She
señora
just switched.
actually probably but was in the office. So,
Oh.
Oh,
the
that's
The
right.
office
light issue stopped, by
where
the
that
way.
used to be my Oh, good.
We stopped having any kind of
Maybe she
But
moved.
that
electrical
room, when I
issue.
moved in
It's daylight saving.
done.
She stopped. Ya no quiero.
We
so
stopped.
that room, the one that leads to the garage, that used to be my office, and
Yeah.
that one, when I first got it, it had, like, I had to, like, freaking do all kinds of shit and paint because it had, like, at the hospital, those old school ones where you keep the gloves and you keep the water
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you keep, like, gauze and all that it had that stuff,
Mhm.
and it had, like I swore up and down, I still do, that, like, the walls in my room where it's, like, betadine or blood or something, because it would not come up, that's why we just, like, painted over it.
Come.
I mean, maybe. I don't
Like,
know, but
come
we had
It's
we
come.
had
burn it.
situations with the lights flickering for the first couple of months, but that stopped. I mean, it just stopped
Right.
from all day, every day to nothing at all. You know what I mean? Not even one flickering light. So at first, I'm like, it has to be an electrical issue, because it was like several rooms, not just one room, and then like the light would flicker and then totally turn off, and I'm like, what the like, anyway, and then it would all of a sudden turn on. But just how it started, it stopped. So I'm like, all right, I guess they got used to us
My
and
ghosts
we're
were
good.
like, Who is this?" These are the
Who the f-
tenants of this.
who is you? Get away. Get out.
If I think earlier episodes, you can see that happening in Jesse, like the earlier
Yeah.
ones
Yes.
The
when all of us,
flickering.
there's a few of them where it happened.
And then I would tell them all the time, like, "You guys don't see the viejita, like, walking through the door in the kitchen?" Like and Annie,
Mm-mm.
they haven't seen the viejita. I think Vero said she's seen the viejita a little
She
bit out
gets
of the
like a
corner of
little
her eye.
like something crossing in her peripheral, like she gets a little glance or something, but
Yes.
no interactions. I honestly have felt comfortable in every single room. Like, like it just feels like a comforting house. I never
Yeah.
walk into any room with like an energy of like, "Oh, I shouldn't be here,"
Mhm.
like how my niece mentions just that one particular room, but I don't know. It might be
Oh, my
her
grandma's
thing.
statues. How about those? I want my grandma's the
They're still
statues in the
there,
backyard.
dude.
How
They're
about those
still
fucking
there.
crazy things?
That's
I
like otro
Hell no.
pedo.
If
That's
that where the
anything, I
chickens
feel
are?
like they're good
Mm.
protection. Yeah.
Yeah, the ones with the
Well, I mean, the
chicken.
chickens are everywhere, but
The
that's
cheering,
they're off in the corners still.
the little cheering statues. Oh,
Churros.
no, those things are cool.
They take care of the yard. They're fine.
When we were at Jesse's
Wait, so
party,
all
Brian's like, "What the hell are those? Those are hella creepy." And I'm like, "Babe, like, don't be talking about people's like that's rude." He's like,
Yeah.
"What? They're creepy."
Like they're
I
gonna bite your
remember
Yeah.
ankles.
Vero heard me
I
fussing with
remember
him,
oh,
and I was
really?
like, It's rude." And she's like, "Why is it rude?" And I'm like, "Because you're talking about somebody else's like decoration, like what if it was like her mom's or something like that?" And then she comes over hella drunk and she's like, "Oh, those things? Yeah, they're just grandma's. They're creepy." I was like, "Oh, forget it. Like, you can say whatever you want.
You're like,
Fuck
oh yeah.
it."
They validated and shit.
Mhm. It's like, "See?"
Oscar, you were gonna say something?
so all you guys hung out together like growing up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all the same age.
Yeah.
That's
Mm,
dope.
I
we
mean,
didn't hang out
Je-
though.
No,
Mother,
that was
you.
It's Sergio.
We went
Because
to
I've heard a
school
lot of
together, like,
stories
at different
from
times.
them.
Yeah, we went to
Oh,
school
okay.
together at
Because I've heard a
different
lot of
times,
stories,
yeah.
so I'm just trying to connect everything, like.
I heard a lot
I
of
actually
stories.
I actually
Beck,
met Sergio
tune into
and
our
Buddy before I
podcast.
met Jesse because we went to elementary together. And I was in, I think, their classes before, and then somewhere along like 5th grade, I met Jesse. We became like best friends, and then ever since
Yep.
then we've been split up. Like they don't allow us to be in the same.
Universe.
They didn't allow us to be in the same
Yes, and
class.
even
We're not
the
allowed in the same
universe.
school.
Yeah, for real.
Well, we made it happen.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then
That's
I
so cool.
we
introduced
were
her to Annie. Yeah.
Yep.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then high
And
school, we were
we
all in
all
the
like
same
hung out
area.
and yeah, we're
Mhm.
all in the same area, dude. That's what it
Yeah.
really is. And then, in I think it was Miss Harvey's class when I moved to Calexico,
Oh yeah.
in 3rd grade. Oh yeah. This
I remember that class, bro.
Oh, yeah.
dude, and
Remember the Denny's,
it
bro? Remember
was
the Denny's? Fuck.
it
Story.
burned,
R.I.P.
dude. They burnt.
Let it burn, let
R.I.P.
it
dude.
burn.
Dude.
Man. Gotta talk
Do
about
you,
sad shit.
Jesse, do you remember Linda from Denny's?
Linda Lay, hello.
Yes, dude. It's a
I
long.
loved
I don't know if we
her.
should have it on this. That's like a normal dude's conversation.
Yeah, it is. Please.
I mean, to go back on the topic, like, I don't know. It's weird to really sit there because I've had instances where I sit there and think about my daughter experiencing shit, and and not to get all sentimental, like breaks my heart a little bit because I know how I react to a lot of it. Um, and whenever something like that happens, the first person I go to is like, Jesse, this happened. What do you think? And she's like, just light a light candle. And
Stop
to this
being a
day, I
little
haven't done it.
bitch. Stop being a little
Yeah,
bitch.
to this day, I still haven't done it. I still haven't done that. So, but at the end of the day, when it comes to kids, why do you think, outside of being pure, obviously, because that's like the sentiment for everybody,
Funny.
why do you think ghosts or demons, that on some occasions demons, why do you think they're the target for kids? Is it just because of the innocence, or is it something else?
I think touching on theme a little bit about how like children maybe aren't cognitive, or they are cognitive to
Mm,
certain things that we're not. Like, for example, when you ask me if I've had experiences that I remember, I vaguely remember my childhood, and that's because of trauma. Like, there's a lot of like blocked off
right,
memories because of the trauma that I had. Or there's
right,
there are memories, but because we lived in, like, poverty, like, we lived with a bunch of people in the house, so it's hard to differentiate from, like, a paranormal experience to, like, "Oh, well, there was just a bunch of people in the house," like, where there was, like,
right.
7 people living in a one-bedroom house type situation, you know? Um, but also, um, I've also been reading stuff recently about, like, neurodivergence, and, like, what I do
Mm,
remember from my childhood is my dreams, and I had very vivid dreams. And recently, I started reading something about how children don't have nightmares until a certain age. Your nightmares don't develop until a certain part of your brain develops. And that part of the brain, which is the part of your brain that controls dreams, controls nightmares. And so at a certain age, this scientist, this neurosurgeon actually, he started researching nightmares and dreams, and how and he tapped into a little bit of, like, lucid dreaming, and he tapped into a little bit of, like, psychic dreaming and stuff like that, which to me was really interesting because there was to me, dreams are like an opening of your subconscious, right? It's like things that you're living,
mm,
the lived experience, but they're also sometimes premonitions, sometimes they're, like, psychic experiences, sometimes they're spiritual awakening, sometimes they're a spiritual connection with somebody or something, right? And so I think that with kids, because there's not just maybe brain development, but, like, there's spiritual development, there's, like, introduction to, um um, like, language, to
right.
communication in a different form. There's a level of understanding that they have, and a level of connection and communication that we forget when we learn behavior. And I think that allows them to be more susceptible to that type of entity or spirit or energy. whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think neurodivergent kids or do you think they experience it more compared to, neurotypical kids? Do you think
Yeah,
that could be a factor in it too?
I think so too. I think because the same thing, their brain works and functions differently. Their
Differently.
perception,
Yep.
their social abilities, their ability to communicate, all
Mm.
of that is completely different. And so it's why they can hyperfixate on something and then be a fucking expert at it. Whereas
Right.
somebody that's average, or somebody that's not considered on the spectrum or something like that might not be able
Right.
to have that kind of like thing spark in their brain. It's why a lot of people that are, neurospicy tend to be sometimes people that are more tapped into forms of like divinity, like forms of like reading energy, reading cards, reading
Mhm.
stuff like that because they're more open to it or they delve so much deeper into it like maybe like astrology or something like that that it allows them to
Right.
see behavioral patterns um
Mm.
a little bit
We can
differently.
Interesting.
kind of jump back to what Buddy was mentioning too on wavelengths, and exactly neurodivergent people being on a completely different frequency or being able to tap into different amounts of frequencies, and just communicating. I think also that's another like how you mentioned, Sergio, you have your daughter who's nonverbal, and I guess
Yeah.
having the limitations or different ways to communicate and not being able to communicate what she's actually seeing, and experiencing. So
Mhm.
definitely different frequencies for neurodivergence.
Yeah,
I feel that.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like even being neurodivergent or just what you call, I guess, average. Like at a certain age, there's things that your kid will tell you. I don't have kids, but I've niece and nephew, right? That you, us as an adult that have logic and have experience and have all
He only
this
has some
like
and sucks. That's it. I just had to say that. Jesse's face.
like
DMC.
we hear it and we're like, nah, you're tripping. Like that doesn't exist, right?
Mm.
And I feel like that is why they're targeted because a lot of the things that they will say, an adult will be like, nah, dude, relax. Like, just you're watching too much of this. Don't worry about it.
Right.
So then it's an easy target because
Mhm.
nobody will ever know is it real or not unless it's somebody like that is in tune to that.
Yeah,
Like they
well,
have
it's
that
kind of
sense
like
still of believing.
it's like earlier you
Yeah.
said, I still have what I'm still gonna stick with the idea that we manifested these beings, these entities. You
Mhm.
you're saying it out loud, right? Your brain doesn't know how to determine from logic or falsity. Like it doesn't. It doesn't have
Mhm.
the ability to. You have the ability to train your brain to know what's right and what's wrong, right? Or what you think it is. But that doesn't take away your ability to manifest it. You
Mhm.
said it out loud. You brought it into the universe. It's in your house. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
do you believe it? Do you strengthen that? Do you build a wall of protection for yourself? Do you also manifest protection for yourself? Like that's what you really, and I think that gets lost when you become an adult sometimes. Like you just so into the monotony of everything and the reality of everything that you forget to be a little whimsical and magical and a little bit in tune to like
Yeah.
the connection of yeah, sometimes we want to get scared to feel right, but
Yep.
if that's a true, remember that
You
there's always a
rationalize and
duality.
compartmentalize.
There's
Yeah.
a positive, yeah, if there's a positive energy there's going to be a negative energy. If there's a negative
I
entity
haven't been
then what is your
touched
light?
in 2 years.
That's why every day, like it sounds stupid, but every day when I go get the mail, I'm waiting and I'm like, I'm waiting for my check. I'm waiting for my check to come. I'm waiting for my check to come. And I'll get money. I'll get checks like a class action lawsuit or something stupid. But that's
Hey,
Yeah.
always
yeah.
what I think. Like like there's money, there's a check or there's money for me in the
Yeah.
mail. Like you have to be
Interesting.
careful what you say out loud,
Right.
basically.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a
And
And I
you say a
big
think
lot of
that
stupid
believer
shit out
in
loud,
power spoken
Sergio.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
like
always
going
say stuff out
into
loud.
back what
Wrong.
Oscar's saying too, like, as a kid, you're told, no, that's not right. No, that's not real. No, that's not. So
Right.
you start rationalizing that and you stop.
Right.
Yeah. That's what sometimes disconnects kids from that level of like, being psychic or that level of being attuned to that kind of veil thinning.
Right. I'm curious what you think, buddy, with everything we're talking. He's just like
He fell
making sexy
asleep.
faces.
I thought
Fell asleep
Oscar
with
was
his eyes
painting.
open.
I thought Oscar was painting him like
Oscar
I
turned the
wasn't moving.
remote
Oscar
on.
was painting me like one of his French girls.
Oscar has it at level
Uh,
8.
There it is. There it is. Um, so I was hearing you all. I didn't fall asleep. Actually, I'm listening to it because you guys all have the neuroscience side of it, and I always bring the theological side to it as well, as far as like the demons and children. Um, Theology wise, children are actually religious side is children can be more of a target towards demons because, like you said, of their innocence.
Mhm.
They don't know when something is not right, is not good or bad. And as we're taught, like in religion, is that the demons or the devil himself, his greatest strength is to make you believe he doesn't exist. And
Right.
in turn with that, once you don't believe he exists, you're easier to be
More susceptible.
possessed.
More.
Yeah, you're more
Yeah.
susceptible
Okay.
to be possessed. So like
Yeah.
children, movies have come out of it, not the Conjuring, but the one with all the cameras.
Exorcist.
No, the one with all the
Paranormal Dudes, Paranormal Activity.
yeah, Paranormal Activity. The little girl thought she was talking to a friend called Toby,
Toby.
and kept on and kept on and kept on, and and Toby turns out he was a demon that was going to possess the girls, to make them sacrifice. Which we talked about this a few episodes back about how demons and the Epstein Islands and the demons that were there are wanting sacrifice of some type. Children are very,
Mhm.
very much a target for that kind of thing. So we look at that and we start thinking
What
the
was that?
neuroscience of it.
What was
It,
that? What was that?
What fell?
Something fall?
nothing at my place.
I heard a
None of
loud
my
bang,
place.
like
I
something
I heard a
fell.
loud,
I heard
loud
it too,
bang.
but I was muted, so
I heard nothing.
Nothing.
Buddy, are you smacking your own ass when you're talking? Is that what's going on right now?
with his little hand.
That's what happens.
No.
His little hand.
No,
Yeah, I
no,
heard that
not
something
nothing
fell.
That
fell here.
was, yeah, that was great. It sounded like your audio, buddy.
Nothing fell around me.
Don't like ghosted is a don't be talking about me, boy. Don't
Oh,
do that.
Like mother, I didn't
I
give you
don't,
permission,
Well, no,
motherfucker.
I don't doubt that'll happen, but
when there's a sound, the little red frame goes on, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and the only frame that
Yes.
was on was Buddy's.
Yep.
yeah. I mean, something's
Sounded
probably
like
happening here.
Maybe do you have like
Something's
the
always
blinds?
happening there.
Do you have like the blinds that are like slides like that?
No,
Oh.
They're doing construction on his house right now, so
Oh,
everything's
okay.
like upside down.
Okay. That's probably that.
yeah, it's a whole mess here. Like, if you guys come and hang out here for a night, you'll be like, but
5,000 likes and we'll all
yeah,
have a sleep.
We'll all go to Buddy's house.
the next podcast
Dude,
at my
no.
place.
Imagine.
It's just
oh my
Sergio,
gosh.
don't even think about it.
it's just
5,000
Let's do it.
likes.
We can bounce back and forth on kids about that, but yeah, the theology side of it, the possession side of it, children are very much easy target for that because of the innocence. I mean, they don't understand that there's something bad there trying to get to them. So yeah, I understand
Right.
where that would come.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly an interesting thing to think about, especially everything that that Melissa touched on. Just the different levels of, like everyone said, the frequencies or being in tune with
Mhm.
what's going on around you, and especially with neurodivergent. I want to say individuals, not so much just kids, but kids
Mhm.
because of the purity side, with the hyperfixation on something. And I honestly don't think neurodivergent people would give a if they saw a ghost because it'd be like someone else. And
Mhm.
when it comes to my daughter, I think it's more of she saw something creepy and that's why it scared her, which scares me altogether because of what Buddy
Mhm.
touched on. Usually, because of the purity from kids, um, uh, that's like an easy target
Right.
for demons or malicious, I should say malicious entities, because
Right.
there's other malicious entities outside of demons.
Mhm.
Um, but it's just talking about it, it gets my heart racing a little bit because it is my daughter and like she's
Yeah.
like the number one thing for me ever. And just thinking that she could be going through something like that. And there's things that I can do, but I'm powerless to protect her from seeing those things before it
Yeah.
happens. I don't know. It's a weird thought.
Do
It's
you
definitely
guys
a weird
like
thought.
I mean, do you guys have anything that you guys believe in strongly enough for like
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
Yeah, of
I think as
course.
long as you're doing what's right by you and what you think is powerful enough to protect her against that, I think that's what's
Yeah, for
important.
sure.
It's you saying I'm not powerful enough or she's more susceptible to that. You shouldn't. You should. She's protected. She's divinely protected by
Yeah.
whatever it is that you believe in, and she might be experiencing this right now. But at the end of the day, like you're doing what you can as a parent to protect her in that
For
form or
sure.
way. You're
For sure.
lighting as
And
many white
and
candles
also
as
like
Jesse says you need to light.
yeah. And also
For
like
sure.
credit where credit is due.
What were you gonna
I
say,
like
Annie?
I described a household where that kind of conversation was encouraged and we were encouraged to describe it, and like you want to give her that household
Right.
and she's growing up in a surrounding where she's being nurtured. That side of her is being nurtured, not so much as I'm sorry, Oscar, but like he shared a story where he was being turned down and like or even Buddy, describing something and
Yeah.
it's like ah, no existe, like and you have to go through life like you're already giving her something that is going to be super beneficial for her and give her strength, so it's already good.
Right. Kinda like set
Right.
up for failure already when it comes to the paranormal. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I
Yeah.
agree.
But you're also more learned about it too. So you know what I mean? Like you have a little bit more
No.
experience with
Like a
or
learned
knowledge.
experience kind
Yeah,
of
or
thing?
like,
Yeah,
Is that what
yeah.
you
this
No,
is
if
what these
anything, it's
people did
encouraging
in
for
this
her.
particular
Yeah.
situation. Or this is what yeah. So you
Yeah.
have also secondhand knowledge of like what could protect her in those situations better than others.
No, for
Mhm.
sure, and especially going through so many years, I mean, we have so many crazy stories. Jesse's been a part of them. Buddy's been a part of them. Growing up, and yeah, I'm not gonna shield her from it. I'm not gonna be that boomer parent that's gonna be like, "Oh, no, there's nothing there." No, 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 no.
Yeah.
I know, no, like, I'm not gonna do that, and I'm definitely going to be like, "Look, there's there's definitely spirits out there. There's definitely energy out there that is kind of unexplained when it comes to humans, but we could do our best to be polite to the ones that are actual spirits that used to be humans at some point. And then there's the evil side that, we try to, whatever denomination she wants to be growing up, I would just be like, look, this is, go through those practices and it'll shield you from the evils that are unseen kind of thing. I don't know if you guys feel the same way with any of your kids when it is preparing them because all of us are very in tune when it comes to the paranormal. Not Buddy's kind of out of that threshold because his kids are older. But what about those that have young kids? And even you ask, like when you eventually do have children, what your plan is when it comes to the paranormal or supernatural, I should say.
Who wants to go first?
I think Jessie should go first because she looks hella annoyed.
Well, my kids keep going in for candy.
I know that's what's annoying you.
They miss their
Um,
mom.
I know they do. they don't even want to be with their dad, like, at all. He's just like they're snoring. um,
He's got Twizzlers in his nose and his shit asleep.
Yeah, he's like, in their chair. I don't know, like had mentioned before, I feel like with me because I, have kids and I didn't have kids before, obviously before I had kids, but when I saw that they were like starting to like embrace it and all that type of like at first it would freak me out, but then I was like, okay, because obviously, like, I would talk to them and be like, oh, if they talk to me about weird stuff or that I thought was weird, like when I would see my grandma, like that, I would just say, like, yeah, that's your great grandma, and, just whatever, normal. But then here, like, 5 minutes later, my sister's like sending me a video of her doing limpias with my kids with eggs and shit. So it's not like I can be like, I can just encourage it to a certain point, I feel,
Right.
but, then here cause my sister freaking moving their hands and shit, showing them how to do it, and it's like, chill out, like, let them
Yeah.
that's cool you're teaching and whatever, but let them kind of learn on like, let their natural
Let's pump the
ability.
brakes. Let's pump the brakes
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah.
And so she's like, "I'm just bringing out their natural powers." I'm like, "Okay, well, let them come out naturally, like, don't."
Don't force it.
Yeah, like, literally, Thelma was doing a limpia on my mom's knee or some and, like, my mom got up and
my
she
God.
yeah, because a neighbor gives her food, and I told her, "I can't stand that neighbor, do not take anything from her, because she says she brings her vegetables and stuff, but she had brought her food from, some family member in Culiacan or state, and I was like, "Oh, hell no." Aparte that I
Oh,
saw the
man.
lady when I went to her house, and when she opened the door, I was like, "No." There was just something weird about that lady. And all of a sudden, my mom started having, like, these ailments, like back pain, knee pain, and, like, the doctor was like,
Oh,
"There's nothing
no.
wrong with you. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you." And I was like, "You've been eating the food that she's giving you. You need a
Mhm.
limpia and stop taking food that people give you. Like, I don't give a if you like, I rarely take anything from anybody,
Mhm.
um, and much less
Does it feel
food."
like Jesse's yelling at us like we're being scolded right now?
Yes.
I
That's
mean,
that's
does it
what
feel
it's
like you're gonna take food, Sergio? Are you gonna take food,
Are
Sergio?
you taking things
Are
from
you gonna
people?
take
Food, Sergio?
Hey,
is it
Jesse
I
bullied
better hear
me most of
no.
my
Oh,
elementary
please. I
years.
think you just have PTSD from me, okay? So shut up.
I
Quit
will
being a little
say this does sound like when my mom would say, "Don't take candy from the man in the white van,"
Right.
but she
Yeah.
was
Look it.
wrong.
The point is
But
she
she was
takes
right. It was a good time.
It
she
was a
takes
good time.
everything
Best time we ever
and
had.
then
Best 2
she
minutes of his life.
the
Best two
best 1 second. And then Temo did a limpia on her
Oh,
and she was
right.
fine. That's all I'm gonna
Oh,
say.
That's
what was his limpia?
Right.
I don't know, ask Sandra. She was the one fucking doing
Is
all
he
the voodoo
taking
with him.
commissions? But
I
apparently all the
mean,
Girl,
dudes.
I
schedule
was
an
like, "Que lo voy a
appointment, you
I'm gonna
know?
put him on the corner to
Yeah.
freaking sell."
To bring my
I
own
was like, "I'm
Jesse,
gonna
eggs
what if
sell
your
or
sister's what if your sister's like he's like training him to become the first real life Voldemort? What if he's like this crazy warlock later? What if
As
that
long as
happens?
as long as
I'm
he's a
looking
good
at
member to society and he's like a good person and he's like successful, I don't care what the he does, okay?
Yeah.
With his
That's fair.
powers.
That's fair. With this power, with his Labubu powers.
With his
Right.
Labubu powers.
Oh,
Like
that's
now
fucking
for some
hilarious.
reason he's like, "Mommy, did you like Vale will be like, Mom, can we do this?" And then he'll be like, "Mommy, are you gonna do it with your powers?" And I'm like, "What
Oh,
powers,
shit.
Demo?"
He's like, I
And
know you
then
have
Vale's like, "You know what
Bosheli.
powers." Vale's watching TV and she's like, "You know what powers, Mom?" And I'm just like, "Whatever, girl. Relax."
Isn't this a recipe for a great reality TV, like Jesse's household with
I
their
I
kids?
just
know.
I took my
Please.
kids
I can't.
yesterday to a birthday party and I thought it was like a you know how Mexican people have um like birthday parties and baptisms like the same day
Yep.
just to kind
Yeah.
of like
Yep.
have a party thing. So
A
I thought it
twofer.
was like that. And I was like, yeah, so I was like so I was leaving. I was like, Mom, was it also a baptism? And she's like, no. And I was like, so it was just Jesus theme? So it was a Jesus-themed birthday party.
Okay,
And it was for my little, my cousin's, son or whatever, and, I guess they've been going to church now, and so they had a Jesus-themed
Okay.
birthday
Mhm.
party, and my kids were, like, on it trying to get the and my mom's, like, the worst, so she was, like, getting for them and, like, toys.
Oh my
Like, she's
god.
the type of person that was,
Elbowing
like,
other
on the
kids.
ground getting the toys for the
Yeah.
yeah, and my kids are just wandering around, like, looking at people on the floor. And so I was, like, over it already, we were leaving, and I asked her, and she's like, "No, it was just a Jesus-themed birthday party," and I was like, "You know what? It was cool, like, thank you, it was great." Like, I had
Yeah.
nachos, like, it was it
As
was
long as
lit, you know?
yeah, you
I
guys had
had
Jesus be
fun.
lit.
the tortilla chips were shaped like Jesus.
They were like little
They
cross
had,
chips.
like, little Easter baskets with, like, Jesus stuffed animals and, like, little sheep, and so when
That's
we got
cute.
home,
That's pretty cool.
my daughter was like, "I can't go to sleep until I get Jesus, like, where's Jesus at?" And so she went and got at I'm at that point with trying to put my kids to sleep that if they want a life-size Jesus, I will get a life-size Jesus for them to go to sleep. So I was like, "Let's find
Or
Jesus."
whatever
Like,
would
"Where are you
work.
talking about?" And so she gets the stuffed animal, she goes to sleep with, the little and we always read a story or we say recite a story. And she just started
Mhm.
telling me about how if I knew how Jesus and I was like, "Actually, I do,
Oh.
but why don't you tell me about it?" And so she started telling me about how Jesus but he came back to life, so it was all cool. And I was like, "Really?"
Cool.
I was raised Catholic, but
Mhm.
we never went to church. And, so I've never taken my kids to church. We just aren't really big on church or anything like that. I've baptized them, but we just are non-church goers. It's not like we are talking about
Yeah.
church and God every day in our house or anything like that. And my husband's agnostic. So she started telling me about how Jesus in the resurrect like he was resurrected and she was telling me about how when he it was because they pinned him to a cross. And I was just like,
Oh.
I didn't know. I was like, well, this is
You're
a
like,
different bedtime story.
She saw Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ, that's why.
Oh, it
The
was
Passion of
directed by.
Christ. Yeah. So I didn't wanna open that can of worms. I just wanted her to go to sleep, and I was like, "Thank you for letting me know. That was a very interesting story," right?
You're like, God.
But
Thank you
yeah,
for sharing that endearing moment. I appreciate it.
No, like, in my house, I do a lot of, like, smoke cleanses and, like, floor washes and stuff like that, and so they just get annoyed with
Okay.
me, but, I mean
They already
They
know. They're
sit
like,
there, they stand there, and they let me smoke them, like, with the Palo
Yeah.
Santo or with whatever
Yeah.
incense I'm using at the moment, and they just my little 2-year-old, she just sits there, like, looking at me like, "Mom's tripping out again." You know?
Mom's doing her
My
magic.
son
We
will
do
help
have
me
the
go
same
open the
thing.
windows. Yeah,
Yeah.
my son will help me go open the windows, and then he stands there. He's, like, taller than me now, so he'll just stand there and let me, like, do my thing. The
"Hmm."
one that's it's funny because the one that's, like, the most combative is Brian, not even my dad. My dad will just, like, sit there, he'll help me open windows, and he'll sit there, and I'll just, like, pass it around him, and he's just not even looking at me like like
Whatever.
she's crazy, you know? Yeah. But yeah,
Well, that's
Brian's the
how
one
Renee
that's
is.
like
That's why
that.
we just sage him when he sleeps. Yeah.
When he's asleep.
Yeah, one time we were all the picture okay, picture like you're asleep on the bed and all of a sudden you wake up and like it's Sandra, me and my mom and Amy like over the bed and we're like saging him and he just like opened his eyes and he was like,
Like a giant
"What the fuck?
dagger.
God damn it." That's what he
Yeah.
said.
They're like light as a feather, stiff as a board, light as a feather.
I
He's like
know.
hovering, levitating in the chair. He's like, not again.
I
Fucking shit.
Fuck. Can't even sleep in this house.
Fucking crazy.
Can't fucking sleep in this house
Oh,
without
well.
floating. Oh, I love it.
Buddy, I have a serious question for you. So when
Ooh.
you married Anna, or when you got with Anna, I should say, were they open to the paranormal or supernatural before they all met you, or was it kind of like you ushered it in with them when you guys got together and you guys started living together, I guess?
Story time. Actually, they weren't about that.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
when I started going out with Anna, she lived in Mex. So like the only way I could see her was when I'd be off on my weekends and I would go to
Mhm.
Mex and I'd go to her house and her dad would let me spend the night, but he was traditional. So it was like, you're staying asleep in the living room. She's staying asleep in her bedroom. Even though we're already like in our 30s, she was, she's older than I am, but we were not allowed to be in the same room. So I was like, cool.
Mhm.
Um, so one night we went out. We usually like frequented the casinos out there, and then we'd go have tacos, then come back and go to sleep. One night I was in the bedroom or in the living room where I'd sleep, away from their rooms, and I heard like a woman's voice, and I thought it was Anna like calling out to me or saying something. So I
Mhm.
looked over, and the living room there was a really big, really wide, huge living room. I turned over and looked, and I was like, "Oh!" There was a lady there, and this lady was standing like in the doorway looking at me, and
Oh
I
shit.
I realized I recognized her, but I didn't understand why I recognized her.
You
And then
can
she
place
started
it.
telling me, yeah, she started saying, I know you're a good person. I know I've seen you with with Anna, I've seen you with the girls. And so they had a lady that stayed there and cleaned at their home. Like she was like a live-in, like I guess you'd say like a live-in maid type thing.
Mm.
But it wasn't the lady that stayed there and cleaned. And so she said all these things and she says, "Please promise me that you'll take care of them and you'll be good to them and watch over them." And I said,
Mhm.
"Yeah." Lady vanishes. I mean, just poof, gone. At that point, I was like, "What did I see?" And I thought, "I'm dreaming. No, I'm wide awake." So I did the I broke the rules and I went across the house and I went into Anna's room and I woke her up. I was like, "Hey." When I woke her up, I looked across her bedroom and there was a little picture frame. It was her mother. So I got to meet
Oh.
Anna's
Orale?
mother. Yeah, her mother
Mm.
passed away about 15 years before I got with Anna.
Oh, wow.
So I met her mother in the home and as a spirit. And she was just saying, she's seen me. She knows I've been good and she wants me to keep taking care of Anna and the girls. Um, I told Anna, I just saw this person, this lady. She's this and this and this and this. And she said this. And Anna was just like, say what?
Yeah.
So we went back to the living room. I explained to her what I saw and what the lady had said. And I'm trying to think of the name she said of her. I think it was Pato. I'm not really sure.
Like a nickname
Yeah.
that you didn't know
And
about?
I had no idea about it. And Anna was just like, my mom used to call me that. And I was like, oh, well, that's what she said. And she was like, what? And I told her, okay, who is it? And she's like, that's my mom. Because I hadn't really asked her about her mom. We'd only been together for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Um,
Damn. And you're gonna bring it. Well, all this paranormal shit's been going on my whole life.
no, you know what?
Well,
No,
yeah.
it was longer than that because the girls were there. So we had been together about about closer to 3 or 4 months because I hadn't met the girls till we were together for like 2 months.
Okay.
But yeah, I told her, okay, so let me tell you a little something. And I told her I do see some spirits. And I explained to her about the stuff that I've
Mhm.
told you guys before, and she was just kind of
Yeah.
like, all right. And it just opened a whole new thing. So that's why I say story time because I can go for hours on this story because there was a lot that went back and forth and all this, but they weren't into that. They didn't believe in that. They didn't like have like, oh, there's ghosts out there and like that. But once I got into the relationship, they got to know that about me. And like I told them about stuff like the cowboy and an angel and the jockey and stuff like that. And
Right.
that's where they kind of understood, okay, so you see this and there's something there. And that's why this whole thing that we were talking about earlier, um, she's still kind of in the skeptic side of it, but she's still kind of more because of personal family and work and all that.
Mhm.
She doesn't want that to come out that way. But yeah, I
Right.
Mhm.
mean, I did tell her like, yeah, I do see this stuff, and it kind of at that point kind of opened them up to the whole paranormal thing, to where even the girls were more like, well, we want to watch scary ghost movies, and then you tell us about what you think, and I'm like, honestly, the stuff you see in scary movies is to scare you. I was like, because I've
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
seen anything like that.
Mhm.
But I tell them, if you ever do see one, you may or may not know it is or isn't. I mean, it may be out there and you look at it and, oh, look at that little old lady. And you don't
Mhm.
know whether it's someone alive or not. So I told them, I did open up quite a bit and they questioned a lot about it. Um, COVID, I spent pretty much all COVID lockdown over there and they questioned a lot of it. And
Oh,
so we
in
did a
your
lot of talking
in-laws'
back.
house?
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, poor
Yeah.
guy. I commend you. You need a medal or something. I wouldn't be able to do that.
What do you
You
mean?
need a medal. You stayed
For
in your
what?
in-laws' house for a long time.
Yeah, I did. Well, my father-in-law, before he passed away, he was a really good guy, and he
Okay,
didn't
well, then
like me
that's
at first,
different. Yeah.
but we got along really well. And actually, the whole reason for me staying over there was because I was out of work. She continued working,
Mhm.
so
Right.
she would go to work, and I would stay at home to take care of the girls because they were locked up at home. And so
Right.
basically, I was helping him out because he wasn't going to be able to take care of the girls himself. So that's the whole reason why I stayed there through all of the lockdown.
Oh, I
Um,
see. I see.
but yeah, I mean, and at that point, what was it, 2020? Yeah, about right after lockdown in 21 is when we got engaged and getting ready to get married and all that.
Right.
2020 we got engaged. But yeah, I spent the whole lockdown out there. Um, Mex was even harder than it was over here, so they questioned a lot of it and they wanted to know about the whole paranormal side, and then kind of talked about the demonology side and things like that. So when you guys were talking about preparing our kids for things like this, I could say I
Mhm.
kind of did, through the talks that I gave them and the things that I know. I kind of prepared them, and even though they were older, they kind of understood now the difference, like of good and bad and all that. So it was a lot. It's a lot. I can go on forever, like I say.
Hey, man, go as long as you want. I enjoy listening to you and your butter.
You guys even do that when you're alone?
Yeah, we'll
Right?
go as
Just
long as
like,
we
can we
want
stop
alone.
this? Can you guys just keep talking like off air?
Oscar's acting like he's not even noticing you guys are flirting.
But
And
Oscar's like, man, Buddy's mine. Buddy's mine. That's why he's muted. He's writing his like
he's
death
writing
note to me right
in
now.
his journal.
I was gonna
Oscar,
write
don't
my.
worry. I'm eating the you sent me.
All right. Thank you.
Ooh.
No, I was gonna write my polite dismissal Irish exit because I have to attend something really quickly. So
I didn't hear a word you just said, by the way.
I think
And he said
Oscar's
he
getting
has
ready
to
to make a
dip.
child.
Oh,
He's
He
gotta
has a
I
go
was like,
Tinder
what did he
date.
say?
drop some kids off at
A
the
Tinder-
pool.
Oh,
He has a Tinder date he
oh,
has to go to.
okay. You have to drop some little cocoa pebbles in. Okay, for sure.
no, but I
Okay, yeah.
appreciate it. Was a great. I mean, we definitely
Holy-
have to do a part 2 for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
we're at time, to be honest. We're going to end the episode here.
Okay.
We're way beyond time. I knew this was going to happen, but I want to thank, look, Annie just left.
Bye, motherfucker. Goodbye.
Well, I appreciate everybody for listening. We'll have the girls back on the show in the future. We'll have a part 2. Obviously, we got into a lot of interesting conversations in regards to the topic tonight. I want to thank Melissa, and if Annie shows up before we say bye, I want to thank Annie as well. Just obviously, when you guys get the chance, it's on our YouTube channel. If you want to go take a look, or you could actually look it up on other platforms too. Go and check out Girl, We're Winging It. We still have to edit like 3 episodes. We're gonna get caught up, I promise. Once those are up, you'll have more content. They have a lot more coming down the pipeline. We're gonna be sprucing things up for their podcasts as we go along, and production and graphics and all that fun stuff. But when you get a chance, go take a look at it as well. Melissa also has a business. It's called Claudette's Enchantments. Is that correct?
Claudette's Enchanted Creations, yeah.
Enchanted Creations. There it is.
Mhm.
You want to go ahead and plug that? Plug that for everybody out there?
Yeah, I'll have a website update next month. It's the same thing. It's called it's enchantedcreations.com. And I'm gonna have a few collections out right now. I'm working on swords and daggers. You guys want to check that out? And they're like crystals and stones and gemstones.
Interesting.
Yeah, like stones
Okay.
have their own properties and stuff like that, if you believe. And if not, they're just pretty cool creations. They're all wire wrapped by myself. Make rings,
Mhm.
earrings. But yeah, thank you. And thank you for having us on. I had a lot of fun with you guys.
Yeah. It's always fun when we can chant. Well, we're gonna go so that Oscar can go relieve himself. Not in the way that you think, but yeah. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you guys tune in next week. We have another pretty good. I would say, yeah, it's good. But if you want to jump, look, Annie's here. We'll let Annie say bye to everybody, and if she gets in here. Oh no, I don't think it's gonna happen. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining. We'll catch you guys on the next one. See you later, dudes.